Hello, hello, visionary entrepreneurs, life changers. How are you? Welcome back to our Momentum Monday. Today is our episode 173. Let's talk about from networking to net worth. How many of you? Okay, now we're actually live inside of our Facebook group, Abundant Entrepreneurs. Some of you maybe you will watch this live. I know some of you will watch. More people may watch this replay from our YouTube channel or from other social media handlers. And by the way, we have a YouTube called Abundance Impact, right? From that YouTube channel, you could also get our replays from our previous live replay. Thank you, everyone. Today we last week we talked about procrastination, right? But today here about the networking part. Recently, I had quite some great experience from networking, and this caused me to like all this follow up, all this eventually the values, right? Caused me to think about the networking can really turn into your net worth. And how many of you like when you think about a person, two persons, right? One person has a lot of let's say friends connections and it's like a quite social connected and it's often active in the social connections and providing values and have all these kind of contacts and resources compared with another person just like maybe it's still like a very like a person likes to learn, right? Stay most time in the maybe in the library or in the bookstore and reading books, but that does not want to go outside to connect with other people. So maybe the best of friends is just books with piles of books, very knowledgeable, and but a few friends, few connections. So when you talk with them, maybe they have a lot of knowledge and thoughts, but they cannot get you connected with any other persons. So who do you want? I'm just curious. Okay, please comment under my video which person you want to connect with, or maybe some, I personally want to connect with both of them, right? Because I also love books, I also love reading. So for people with good thoughts, I love to exchange thoughts with them as well. And with another person who has a lot of connections, I personally maybe would like to connect with them even more because they can help me expand the connections so that my, let's say, my resources will not just be limited in knowledge or words on the books, right? Or just the thinking, but I could connect with like new lives, like different lives, different people, and different thoughts, different resources, different experience, different, whatever. It's just like I personally feel, I'm curious about your choice. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, definitely depends on everybody's preference. For me, as an entrepreneur, right, I definitely would prefer to have some friends connections who are more connections who can help me reach and expand my connections. So that's my choice. It doesn't matter whichever you choose, right? But I'm just curious to understand here. So why I'm asking this question, just recently I had quite some connectings, right? So quite some networking. I just feel like those persons who are connecting with many other lives, they are more, I just feel like totally like energy is different. Maybe because of also their personality, right? And you can see from personality and the characters, they choose different paths, life way and style is totally fine for their, everyone has different style, it's totally fine. But I personally just like prefer like with somebody, the one who is more connections usually is more like with higher energy, higher like openness, and it's more like let's say more sharing, more connecting, more resources. I feel like that make me feel like more fulfilled, more connected, and more like valuable in that kind of a world, instead of just like a person who's more quiet into like books or libraries, and but does not really connect with other lives. It's more like I would say like that, not necessarily maybe just introvert. It's more like the value system. For example, like when I connect with a person who has a lot of networks, right? Like the person's value system is like I want to be valuable. I want to pursue bigger dreams. I want to help a lot of people. But on the contrast, another type of person who is more into their inner world, more into just like enriching themselves by either books or other resources. it's like more closed. I feel like the energy is closed, and they also express that they are not interested in helping other people. They just want to like live in a comfortable life, feel good about themselves. Even my son, by the way, interesting, right? Even my son is the second type of person, and I actually connect very well with him. I respect his choice, but I know that a little bit pity is that this type of persons, they have a lot of they are genius actually inside. They are very smart, they're genius, but because the review has not fully opened, including my son, sometimes adults as well, their world has not fully opened yet. So they are still like discovering, try to exploring, and not fully yet set up their full value systems. So it's like they're uh, like a flower bud. But I would say it's like their life is like a flower bud. It's not open yet. So it's like they're still holding themselves, and they are curious to learn, but not so curious to open to share or to help other people. That kind of person, I've been cross my fingers and free my son. I hope like he and my daughter is totally like different character. My daughter is more like me, and my son's interesting. We're more like his dad. They are very like an expert, genius type of person, very smart, but they like to, let's say, they like to learn, but they also do not want to bother to reach out to other people or open to other people and intended to help other people, right? My husband is a lawyer, so for his profession he has to reach out to help other people, right? He's very good in his profession, but for other parts and life parts or connecting parts and networking, he's not so much like us, right? Like me and my daughter, we are more like a, even though my daughter said we are loud introvert from character, very interesting, right? We're still introvert. I would say my whole family has some like introvert part of the character, but me and my daughter is more like a loud introvert. We are more into, for example, philanthropy and nonprofit activities and initiations to help other people, serve other people. So we are more like a servant kind of leaders. We want to serve other people. We just want to open up to help other people. So we want to go extra mile to help other people. So that's us. So there's no right or wrong, right? Totally personal choices and personal. It's just like a God gave us different gifts, different like value systems and different resources, different like preference. So I fully respect my kids' dad and my son's choices, but I would just like I always like encourage them, like if you're so smart, you have so great resources, right? They love readings, they love like let's say getting resources inside of themselves. They enjoy that part, but not necessary to share, right? So I would encourage you. So you have so much, you learn so much, or you have so much genius on a gift. Why don't you share with other people, right? Maybe the timing is not right yet, but we will see. With our efforts, maybe they will also contribute more. So that's God's balance combination, right? So very interesting from our part. Now today I want to share with you the four critical steps to turn every of your like every your networking into your net worth, like into your assets and into your precious uh, net worth. So, and here for net worth, so many people are maybe confused about what is net worth, right? And it's actually not just the financial net worth. For example, if you go to the Wikipedia about the search about what is net worth. Majority of people think about net worth is about finance, right? It's about money, how much money or properties you own. But here, like actually, net worth is the value of all. Here, I'm reading that for you, so you get the idea. Is the value of all the non-financial and financial assets owned by an individual or institution, minus the value of all its outstanding liabilities. So just assume if the person or the one, right, does not have much liabilities, but let's focus on asset part, focus on the assets we own, especially the non-financial one, because today we're talking about the networking, but eventually non-financial one will all contribute to financial one, right? The person I know that with a lot of connections, resources, normally that kind of a net worth and assets turn into their financial blessing as well. So, but anyway, let's talk about the first part, okay? The from networking to your net worth, and especially non-financial one, but eventually will be financial one. So let's just talk about net worth, the four critical steps. And especially I'm quite impressed with my recent networking, right? I connected with, it's just like networked with dozens of people. If you go I don't know. Please comment under my video. Let me know. How many, let's say, networking, how often do you do networking? I actually got to admit that I need to do more, especially my recent experience. I felt very good about it and very active and very great following up and values. And I feel like, wow, I definitely do this more often, right? Like now I'm committing to almost like at least every 2 weeks, I need a networking, either events or some like online or offline on-site events. I need a network because from my efficiency now, just like one networking connected with contacted with dozens of people, but even within 1 week I already followed up the whole circle. So that means like ideally I need every week have some networking and some like reach out or like just open myself for new opportunities, and the minimum will be every 2 weeks. So I'm curious about your networking frequency. How much have you been networking? So I definitely has not been before this last networking. I had not been attending quite like big events for a long time. I would say I had quite some like online, right? After pandemic, so many people get used to online. We become lazier. We just feel like even in the same city, we're just getting meeting people online, right? Zoom is good, great tool, but also give us excuses to not meet each other, right? Just even in the same city, people want to save let's say 1 hour of traveling just to meet online, right? And even by the way, very curious, even with a friend who is in our neighborhood. I believe our working is around 10 minutes, but because we want to meet another like expert, right? Another expert will be around 30 minutes or 40 minutes kind of drive. But then as a small group, we're great to meet on Zoom. Gosh. But anyway, it sometimes give people a busy schedule some like a convenience, right? But anyway, I personally still prefer in-person connectings, in-person networking. Nothing can, AI or Zoom or whatever can never replace that part. In-person kind of a communication, conversation, that kind of a quality, that kind of a feeling, because you all this kind of, even though from Zoom, right, like a video, but it's still like, let's say, it's two-dimension, right? Instead of like when you really personally meet somebody, it's three-dimension or even more, right? It's like you see each other's all this verbal, non-verbal, and also like the three-dimension things that give you the visual impression and that kind of stimulation of your nerves, all totally different feelings, right? So that's nothing can replace. So I always encourage you to go. Like I'm in New York City. Go, gosh, there's no excuse, right? I know sometimes because I have a kid, I have to take care of her, and like my son now in college, my daughter is still like in high school. So during nighttime, majority of the time I feel like I could not go, right? Most most majority events in New York City, in the city, are in Manhattan, and after work time is normally after 6 or 7 p.m. So that's actually my family time, my cooking, or my time with my daughter. So I commend that to her. And so during the weekend, I went to the networking in the daytime. So that's perfect. If you can find some, for example, if you're like me, similarly, right, still have a family responsibility, you may leverage those weekend networking events, right? So I am now that looking for like after this, I will also search for some other events I'm interested. So last time, a great events, I met with the host, and also then I based on her invite, I attended their networking event in actually Empire Building. It's my first time to get into the Empire Building for meeting instead of just as a tourist, right? Get on the top, on the roof to look for the views. So in the entire Empire Building, we had a networking, quite intimate environment, just around maybe 30 some people, a little bit over 30, and similar cultural background. Many of them are like just Chinese or like ABCs, right? It's quite intimate environment, and most of them are entrepreneurs. Actually, it's very interesting. And the hosts, both hosts, one from media, another one is from coaching. So that's why I connected with the coach, and I attended networking to for the purpose to support the coach, and turned out to be a great blessing to me as well. And because I After the networking, during the networking is quite good, facilitated. So everyone briefly introduce ourselves and what do we do, what we can help, what do we help we need, something like that, right? And then they had guest speakers, and the hosts interviewed the guest speakers and answered questions, shared with the whole audience. And after that people connect. It's just like a networking event, right? So but it's not like so casual, and not, there are so many networking events not very organized, right? And people just go there to drink, and then just casually connect with anyone you may be interested in. That's quite awkward. I attended quite a few of those, either on those fancy rooftop or whatever, like the club place, right? And only one I had a little bit of memory is like because they hosted a fashion show, but the fashion show with networking and still a little bit disconnected, right? But this one, because there's a coach, right, and also a media company they hosted, and they had more facilitating and quite targeted networking. So everyone briefly introduced and facilitated, had guests sharing, and then the networking time is not so much, but it's still okay. So it's, people do not feel like awkward, right? It's just like holding the drinks and the chat, and get to meet each other. So that's not so good to me. And exchange your business card. So far that kind of a networking did not work well. But if you want, by the way, this networking I attended in Empire Building, we paid money. It's like $28, not so much, but it's a great. They did not really provide fancy drinks, right? So $28 is good enough to just go there to network with people with some basic drinks and snacks. And so we, when we network, it feel like people are more, because that kind of intimate environment, and because they facilitated, and when you network with other people you know a little bit about each other's background already, so it's more like it's more let's say warmed up, right, to connect with people. So here are the 4 steps I want to introduce. First is like networking, right? And the networking part is really engage, present into the networking, and to quickly remember each other's introduction, and quickly filter out, oh, who this, a few of them maybe you will be interested to talk with them, and also you need to prepare your good like a pitch, right, your elevator pitch or whatever. It's like within 1 minute how you introduce yourself, what do you do, okay, what values you can provide. So when you introduce what you do, you want let's say share your experience, edify yourself, and make your what you do like your background, briefly introduce your background, what kind of qualities or values you can provide, right? And especially what do you do, and then what kind of qualities or values you can provide to other people, and then at the end what do you expect other people to either support you, or what kind of a networking you would expect. So that's all, the very brave, interesting but a very practical introduction. And after that, actually, because my introduction, I actually get quite some people get back to me. And it's just like your introduction is actually your branding. It's your branding, right? It's like it turn you into a magnet to attract the right people to you. So after that, that event, I had let's see, around dozens of people, around over that, I would say over around 12 or 13 people actually get back to me, among those 30 people, right? So it's a good ratio. And they came to me, want to connect with me, so we exchange our contact and connected and follow up. And actually very interesting, right on the spot before we leave, it's very brief chatting, but for people's like entrepreneurship idea, I gave them feedback, I gave them some like thoughts, and we made an appointment immediately for the next day. For the next day, the person invited me to visit his family and treat me for lunch, and so I could share my valuable feedback to his entrepreneurship idea. So that's a great thing, right? And through the week, actually, I had another few follow up. Let's say I made 4 appointments. Interesting, right? 4 appointments, and meet with some people, actually, including another one on site. It's just like a five among the 12, right? It's a great ratio with like an appointment already. And some of them I even invited them to my events during the week, during the coming this just the past weekend. So within 1 week, the total went from last Saturday to this Saturday. exactly 1 week, we already had 5 appointments and invited people to my events already, and I met 5 of them, and it's great. And some of them are become my uh, prospects already. Some are potential cooperation. So here is like quite effective. I'm quite actually proud of myself, and some maybe not the right candidates, right? But some maybe, and some may like help you, help me like refer to other people. But the most important thing here I want to introduce to you is like how those contacts you can really bring the values to them, right? Those 4 critical steps. First, your networking, fully present. The second one is really that connection part. Through my appointments, when I met them, majority of them I meet in person. Another one because she's in New Jersey, I'm in New York, because we met on Zoom, and that matter online or offline, right? That kind of following appointments is actually the second step, is that a connection time. That connection time is not about you, it's purely more about that person. So I put all my curiosity into that person to enable them to talk about what they, for example, what's their background, what's their experience, what's their interests, what are their dreams. That's the big part I want, even though some of them are still shy and do not fully open to that part, because uh, the dreams, right? And some of them are, most of them are not like quite fully clear yet, but they know some ideas. So, oh, I have this intention, but maybe not get time to explore this part. Or someone even showed me their business plan for their entrepreneurship, right? Planning, and I give them critics and feedback. And so very interesting, that part is really like a connection time to really understand this person. So here I summarize a few points I want to share with you. The collecting part is like a first learn, like you are just curious, right? Learn about their experience, their background, and what's their thoughts, what they're planning. And then also share, at the same time, you want to have that kind of a let's say sympathy and also empathy, right? To share yours as well, to connect. You do not just like okay, let them share, but you do not share yours. You need to open yourself as well. I share my experience honestly, share my exploration ups and downs, and then what I have, right? So but then it's just like a build up the connection part. And also especially to understand, after you learn, after you share, you want to understand what's like, go deeper inside of them, what's their like dreams, what kind of a life or a career or business they're looking forward to make, to create, and why, especially why they want to have that. And some people are still like let's say some people are like employees, they are still observing, and also still thinking, right? Not really into that kind of a, let's say, momentum and mode into it yet. So they're just still like waiting to say, oh, maybe is this, maybe, right, is this right thing or right opportunity or right time for them. But so be patient and really understand what inside, what their desires, what kind of needs, especially what their challenges, right, for them to want to reach whatever they want to achieve, what their challenges. So far I found people most challenging part for them to share what they truly want, that kind of clarity. Majority of people do not have that, and especially, and majority of people do not have big enough dreams. I just found that as a visionary leader and a coach myself and a mentor for so many years, for 15 years, I've been coaching different people, right? I met so many people. I know how, like, who is ready and who are not. I found the majority of people are not yet. And some of them are have been doing very good already, but they just need to find the next adventure with the clarity, and also especially align with what they truly want in their life. But so many people, they lack of this kind of a clarity for the life, for who they truly want to be. What's their purpose? What kind of life will be fulfilling for them? And that part, majority of people do not have clarity, and especially they do not dream big enough, right? And that's why where they get doubts of themselves. We talked about the previously, right, in other episodes. When people have that doubts, and including procrastination, it's all because they're what, the root cause is really not just their self-doubt. The more big root cause actually is like they do not have clarity about their dreams, their vision, and that purpose. They lack of that part. So that's why whenever they have some idea, oh, I want to do this and that, they stay on the surface level. Oh, maybe I cannot do that, or maybe this is challenging, that. All those kind of outside kind of like challenges or blocks and limitations will really drag them down, because they do not have that kind of inner stronger, let's say, motivation and drive, that kind of drive, right? Because that's actually their biggest, will be their biggest weapon. So that's why I always like inquire questions, ask them, and try to help them to get more clarity. So that's the understanding part, right? So the together, like learn, share, and understanding is for our second step, is for the connecting part. Now, the third one, it's really, for me as a coach, right, is really empowering people. Sometimes people say, oh, like they say, oh, sales, right? Oh, like the people think like, if you want to do, you want to provide some service or sell some products to them, they think you're sales. But actually, even though I want to serve them, right? I want them to take my, for example, my coaching offer, or take my other opportunities, right? I do not think I'm doing selling work. Actually, I'm more focusing on the empowering part. Empowering part is very critical. Even though they do not do any business with me, I'm totally fine. But I always take every opportunity I can get to empower people, to inspire and empower them. For example, I would after I, based on my connection and understanding of them, right, I would help to expand their vision, and to help them understand better what's their, like say, their strengths, what's their um advantages, what type of thing they gifts they have, right, and help them expand their vision. Sometimes they do not dream big enough. I would help them, to support them, encourage them to pursue a bigger dreams. So that's the first one, expand their vision. And this, and then the next one is empower their decision and action. Now, that's a super important one. Majority of people lack are lacking of their decision part, because of the previously mentioned about the not lack of a clarity. And then they have procrastination, and then they have overthinking or self-doubt, or all this kind of adding together, could not make a decision. That's a big issue. And I remember Tony Robbins mentioned about that the biggest power, right, is really make that decision. And the majority of people lack of that power, make the right decision. And actually last week, right, we talked about the procrastination, how to make the best decision, the 5 steps. Make sure that you check our last episode to get those strategic and kind of strategies, and also methods, right, to make your best decision. And once you can make a best decision, then your actions will flow, right? And sometimes people may still have like not good habits, could not still follow to take action, right? By the way, next week I plan to talk more about the action part. But here is like to empower them, make decision, and then take action. By the way, the decision is not necessarily all times yes, right? For example, if I, even though I'm trying to, I try to get my offer as well. Of course, I'm an entrepreneur. I also want to help them. I know that I can help them. I have the resource, I have the knowledge, I have the expertise, I have the energy, I have all the things, resources, platform, everything to help them. But I need to empower them to make decision for themselves, right? I cannot force them, even though I know this is best for them, but I cannot make decision for them, and I cannot force them to make decision to favor me, right? So, but I will enable them to make a decision for themselves, either yes or no. I'm fine, right? Either yes or no. So, as for example, if we call like sales, I feel like that's too low level. Let's say I'm taking myself more like a person. I'm networking, I'm connecting, and now I'm empowering person. Empowering a person to, like, you can call, people call them lead or prospect. Okay, that's fine. You can call them prospect. I like prospect and that more than need, right? Okay, prospect. They're potential candidates, by the way. They are more like a candidate for me to who I can help them. But if they are not coachable, if they are not ready at all, and they are not open enough for the right resources, the let's say opportunities, right? So I would empower them, to encourage them to make that decision, even say no. Because sometimes saying no is even more, let's say, powerful, and more, even more difficult and challenging for many people. People would keep it, for example, they would keep say in the middle. They say, oh, maybe they do not want to turn people down, right? They are just like they choose the neutral one, especially for, by the way, Asian people. They love the philosophy of medium, right? That working in the middle. and do not say yes, do not say no, always stay in the middle. They think that's the safest way for them. But I encourage them to say yes or no to themselves, a very clear yes or no. Even then, even though they say no to me, I'm still totally fine, right? But at least you make decision. Because if you do not make decision, you will, let's say, waste everybody's time and energy, right? I would rather them say no to me instead of, oh, maybe I would consider da da da, and delay the time to consider and take forever maybe to consider, so they never take action at all. So I would rather them say no to me, so save everybody's energy time, and they can choose whatever they want. I can also move on to serve other people who are in need, right? So that's the best way. And especially for themselves, I help them to make that a decision that will be like so beneficial to them, so that they will not like stuck in the middle and do not know where to go and just waste their time. It's such a pity, I sometimes I witness some people, right? They spend years could not make that decision, could not make that commitment, and could not take that action necessary to support that decision. So they waste years of their time. It's like going in circle, does not make any like a progress. And still like years later when you chat with them, you feel like, oh, they are still in that kind of circle, and they could not make that decision and could not get out of a circle. Yeah, majority of the time I help people make the decision, but there's still occasionally some people they could not, right? So talking about the coachable or uncoachable, there are people who are not coachable. I would admit from my 15 years of experience, not everybody is coachable, right? So yes, everyone needs a coach, but not everyone is necessarily coachable. When they do not have a clear call, when they could not find what's their dream, what's the purpose they want to fulfill, quite some people, they just will stay in a mediocre status and going in a circle. And pitifully, we cannot help everybody, right? Even though I want to contribute to everyone, but at least I planted some seeds. The thing I feel happy for myself is I just open to everyone. I plant some seeds to you. If that seeds, it's just like Jesus, right? By the way, yes, exactly like Jesus. Jesus, all these kind of seeds, he gave that kind of a parable. All these seeds, right? Like the farmer planted the seeds everywhere. Almost some seeds may be blown by the wind into not very good soil or not the right space, right spot, and that kind of a seed could not grow. And some maybe very poor kind of a soil can grow very poorly, and some only the right one, right, get into the right soil with the right time and all these kind of resources will grow very well. So even as a farmer, you cannot expect every seed you plant will grow into like a very like a how to say flourishing plant or crop, right? So that's what you, when you are entrepreneur, when you are a person who wants to serve other people, even though you want to serve everyone, right? Like exactly like me, I want to serve everyone, but it's just like a plant the seeds. Not every seed will grow, right? But some do grow, and that really helping the right seeds and right soil and that grow and can really help the really help the world. That's a beautiful blessing part. So that's a balance, right? But anyway, we still, like the farmer, we want to do the planting and want to help every seed find a spot, right? And the for the empowering part is empowering make the decision and also empower them to take the actions. For those ones who made the decision and said yes to themselves and to me, I feel like so blessed. It's really like a blessing match, right? To help each other and really for me to use my expertise, use my resources, use all the values, gifts I have to help them, to empower them. And for those ones, I feel like such a like a gratitude for this universe, that kind of a matching, right? So that's a third step, the critical third step, right? As an entrepreneur, I want to say like a networking, connecting, and then empowering. Then use your knowledge, use your expertise to empower people and to serve them. Either they say yes or no is totally fine, but you can fully now get into the fourth step to serve those ones who really like said yes to you, and including those ones who said no, I still like would like to serve them. For example, I share my resources, right? I share my knowledge, and I share the opportunity, business opportunity with them. And some are like based on my years of exploration. Some are a great platform, like very easy for them to build up their business, right? Much easier than they build the business by themselves, right? So such kind of a knowledge, resource, and opportunities I share with almost like everyone I met. I can those ones I serve, right? But for those really said yes and made their decision and take action people, I can really serve them even more. So that's why the whole four-step critical steps is very important for us to actually we connect, we empower, and we network and connect, empower and serve, right? Everyone we could, and we do our best to serve without discrimination to serve everyone. And interesting in on LinkedIn, I also have the similar way for networking, even though it's online, right? And networking through online way, network with people and connect with them and empower them and help them to make the decision yes or no, right? And take effort action, and also serve everyone by providing the opportunity, providing the resources. So either online, offline, we can do all these kind of things, right? To really make the networking turn that into from networking to our networks. So the more connections you have, you ensure the more people you can impact, you can influence, right? And you can add values to them. You can empower and serve them. That's the best part. I feel like, um, because the beginning two steps like networking and connecting is really for the purpose of us to empower, inspire, empower, and also like serve them, right? That's for the preparation. Eventually, whoever we can serve, that's it's really like a universal blessing to have that happen. And eventually those ones become your both your blessing and the person's blessing as well, the one you are helping, right? So that's kind of like networking to your networks. Some of them maybe do not directly turn into your financial networks, but they can still like in your connection, if you genuinely serve them, help them, right? Always try to help them, even though they said no, you still try to help them. And those people eventually, you never know, when in long term they maybe give you some referral and give you some like connections, and for those other people you can further serve, right? So this is just like this kind of a networks networking expand to eventually your bigger networks and bigger referrals and bigger serving, right? And a bigger eventually could turn into a financial networks as well, right? So you have your both non-financial networks, and then that could turn into your financial networks as well, right? In long run. And so you want to be like a farmer with that farmer's mindset that be diligent, don't miss every season leverage every season, right? Always try to implant like a plant. Even during the winter time you can plant something, right? Hide in the soil, but when the springtime comes, the right like conditions, right? The seeds may grow as well. Like I now my outside have quite some plants like fruits, everything I'm thinking about like during the winter time they all look like die, right? Died. But through the whole season, after they thrive into that coldness, everything, frozenness, and when the spring comes, when the right time and right seeds, it will keep growing. Well, we'll get a new life again. So think about it in that way, okay? So whatever we do, the networking, sometimes you may not immediately. So even from, for example, the 5 appointments I just made, I may not say immediate result yet, right? But I'm happy for this kind of a process. I networked with them, I connect with them, I empower them, I provided my resources and knowledge and opportunity to serve them. I feel happy for them because whatever decisions they make, that's their thing. But from my side, I feel like I provided what I can to help them. So that's the best part. Okay. And you never know which one will eventually turn into your right, let's say, even your non financial resources, right? And eventually, which one will turn into your financial resources? That one, I do not even attach to it. I would encourage you to. When you are doing the planting process, do not attach to the results, will that seeds grow or not. Or if they say no, if they do not grow, you will feel sad. Don't. Just focus on what you can provide. And eventually that kind of assets will make you feel like your life is fulfilling. Because even though those ones you provide opportunities, right? It doesn't matter if they take or not, at least you touch that life. You get to know them. That's a big part. Okay, you get to know them, understand them, and provided, like when you empower them, you provided some value to them already, and then you serve them. If you get the right opportunity, you can serve them even more. So through this part process, we already get that kind of a reward to yourself, that kind of fulfilling that you serve those people, you really added value to their lives, and eventually whatever they choose is their, let's say, is their life's choice, or it's also their blessing and gifts as well. And we do not attach to that part. So, but then we just repeat this process, this 4-step process, right? And have more networking, and have more connections, and empower them, provide your resources to help them, and keep doing this, okay? And just like farmer, keep doing this, and your garden will grow. Believe me that your garden will grow. I can see quite some seeds. Some partners, for example, business partners and people I helped, still follow me for over, it's like 15 years already. I had over 15 years of coaching, and quite many of them are still my original people who follow me. And recently, by the way, the one I just met, right, and also like had an online meeting, she told me that she listened to my webinar a few years ago, and she was quite like impressed, and she still like she read my story, she liked me, and so we reconnected. It's so funny, right? So interesting. So now I'm providing new opportunity for her, and some other like my partners follow me. A few like for example, for finance part, I started to do the business for 6 years now, and two of the partners like started since the beginning till now. They're still following me and cooperating with me. So that's a great thing. Okay, so it's like my net worth, part of my net worth, right? If you keep planting this circle, keep going, and you will have more and more rewarding, not just financially, but more like your life's fulfilling part. You feel like my purpose, I'm here to, for example, my purpose, right, is to empower those people and for the abundance of all, and through my coaching, mentoring, and services, right? So I feel like wow, every day if you can network with more people, if you can really connect with them more, and empower them and serve them, your life will feel fulfilled. That's how I feel. Like even though now I'm doing this Momentum Monday. Today is our 173 episode. This is a free, by the way, we have free episodes. Every time I get on jump on now it's 40 minutes, right? Normally I do at least 30 to 40 minutes and share my new inspirations, share my great thoughts, share my practice, and to contribute to you. I hope that you get a great value from it, get aha moment, get inspiration. Feel free to comment under my video. And by the way, this Thursday we will have our live class, master class, how to launch your business, um, how to launch your profitable and impactful business, online business within 90 days, and stand out as confident expert and thought leader to impact more lives. By the way, with now my resources and some like clients and friends, we can empower them to launch your business within 1 month. So I'm so proud of that. But we still use 90 days to make sure that majority of people from like 0 to 1, right? From just ideas, has no clue where should we go, where like the clarity and in the past, those ones we help them to launch their businesses within 90 days. So I'm totally proud of what we are doing, and to empower so many entrepreneurs, right, to get their energy, to get their why clarity, and also the resources to launch your business and to impact more people's lives. So we welcome you to attend our Thursday live event. We will see you there online on a Zoom, and we will also look forward to have a private conversation or public conversation with you to support you, so that you could from turn your networking into a net worth, okay? And especially not just net worth, but really your net impact for this world. Thank you so much. Wish everyone a beautiful, wonderful Monday and the rest of the week, and keep your momentum on, okay? Take good care. Bye bye.